Welcome to my channel, everybody, and today I'm going to be talking about or sharing my thoughts on the 1987 horror movie that's called The Stepfather. The very first version, I think there was two more remakes. I think one came out in 2018. But anyway, I was first interested in watching this movie because I saw that 2ByTV had all three on there, and the third one, I didn't click on it, but I was just browsing. There was like this clip that started, and the stepfather in the third one visits this guy who's like covered in bandages in a hospital bed, or like just a cot in like a really weird room. Anyway, so I decided to start with the first one, and wow, it was really, really, really good. Probably better than any of the Basket Case movies. So I watched it, and yeah. So as you see on the mirror, writes, "Who am I here?" in the glass. And it's because this guy goes, single mom family to single mom family, and he becomes their stepfather, and he's all, just want to have a family that's perfect for him, and if they disappoint him, he goes crazy and kills them all, and that's the start of the movie. You see that he's slaughtered a family, and he just leaves while whistling, kind of creepy. So, yeah. Most of the movie, we go to this new family, and apparently, maybe I should have started a video off with this. This was apparently based on a true story, and yeah, I can imagine some psychopath killing his whole family, and he was a stepfather. So I guess that's what they mean by inspired by a true story or something like that. So after the opening scene, we don't see him kill anybody. We just see the dead body, and I think like blood everywhere. So we got the 1 year later where he's in Seattle or Bellevue, Washington. And he's with another mom and her daughter, and the daughter's rebellious, and she's always getting in trouble so much that she actually gets suspended, I think expelled fully from school, yeah. And that kind of makes him very mad. He actually talks and gets her back in, but it's also revealed that here he's now working as a home seller. So he has like a backyard barbecue, and they read in a paper about like they're bringing up the story again of how he killed how this stepfather murdered a family a year ago. And the thing was, the family he murdered, the wife's brother is hunting this guy down with a newspaper. And it's kind of like the side story of the movie. Him hunting down, where this guy is next. And same thing, honestly, the stepfather is the real main character of the movie, and the family is there. The other main character is the daughter, who's named Stephanie. And yeah, when she gets expelled, she also kind of gets a boyfriend, even though her boyfriend's only in 2 scenes. And when they're kissing goodbye, the dad just kind of comes down. That was the part of me that actually shocked me the most. And he walks out, opens the door really fast, and starts screaming at the boy. So he leaves, and then the mom's like, "You just ruined all of the process you made with their daughter." And that's when he kind of decides, okay, I'm going to now kill them. There's a therapist in the movie. There's a therapist for Susie, and he decides to kind of do some research or spying on the stepfather by pretending to look for a house, and he's the realtor. That's the name, realtor. But the stepfather realizes there's something wrong with this guy, and he gets really triggered when the guy starts talking about how a family is crap and all that, and he's a bachelor. And then he misspeaks and says, like, my wife gets on me about that, and he's like, wait a minute, you said you were a bachelor, and then he beats the guy to death with a, piece of wood, and then burns him alive in his car after pushing it down a hill. Wow. Actually, there was only 3 kills in the movie, and that was, the therapist, the guy who, well, I'll spoil it. So the guy whose sister was killed after his stepfather's last murder spree, he finds him, then 30 seconds later he gets stabbed, so it's like, well, what's the point? Well, I actually thought about that, and I guess not only did he provide the gun that finally took down the stepfather in the final fight, but he also provided Susie with the picture of who the stepfather murdered his family a year ago really looked like. Which, this stepfather, he tried to hide it. He tried to make a new picture, but Susie found the real one and confirmed that stepfather is crazy. If you're looking this on the screen, do not worry, he does not kill the dog. They show a lot of moments in this movie that I think could have been cut out, but they were enjoyable, and I didn't really think about that till after the movie ended, and I was like, it shows him setting up his new life. Like, he takes a job to sell life insurance, in a different town, and like he quits his job 3 days earlier, and the wife finds out, and that's what kind of leads to the big final confrontation. Where I was surprised at how good it was, because he hits his wife across the head with the phone, then he pushes her down the stairs, but she returns later and shoots him with a gun 2 times, and then Susie finally takes the knife, the giant kitchen knife, and stabs him in the heart with it, and then he dies. But there's a sequel, and the same actor who plays the stepfather here, Jerry O'Connell, I think, really good actor, creepy for the role. I think he returns in the second one as the same character. The third one, he does not, so I don't know what the Stepfather 3 is about, and I heard that movie is very, very corny. I also like how they provided 2 or 3 songs in the film. The scariest thing that I thought about watching this movie is that you really don't know what's behind closed doors in your neighborhood, do you? Unless you've lived there decades, like I have where I live right now, right? Also, their house was huge. They had a basement, then they had 2 stories, then they had an attic. I guess that's what it was like in the 80s. 80s or 90s, I'm not even, well, I was born in 1999, but I don't know which is probably my favorite decade for movies. Probably the 80s. Anyway, the final fight, Susie comes home and she sees blood all over her stepfather, and he's attacking her and chasing her up the attic and in the bathroom. She actually stabs him with a piece of a broken mirror. He falls through the attic onto, I think, the bathroom floor. And he comes back surprising and almost gets a knife, even though he's bleeding like crazy. Yeah, he was insane at the very end. Also, when the guy walks into the house during the confrontation, the guy who was following him, the side story character, he like has some blood on his chin, and he's about to I forget the guy's name, but he confronts him like, hey, there's some blood there, and he like takes the hand, which is all bloodied, holding the bloody knife to wipe his face off with that blood off his face with. What the heck? So another dumb moment. But yeah, that's when things start to come apart, is when he's like messing up the names, his last name here in this family and everything. I also liked how convincing the stepfather, Jerry O'Connell, played him, how realistic he was talking to other people, getting to know people, waving. I remember there's this scene where he's showing a house to this new family. It's the first time, or only time you see him show a house to if I was talking to the girl, and he's mixing up his daughters from all of the families he's had. Also, when the movie started, I didn't really know what to think, because it's just a shot from outside the house, and you zoom in, and it's this guy all bloodied with tools, and he's taking a shower, and then you see a butt shot, and it's like, oh god, what the heck, at least for me. But then he shaves, and he looks like how he does in all the trailers and whatnot, and he just leaves. It's very creepy how just casual he is about what he, kind of the monster he is. So if you're interested in watching this movie, it's free on Tubi, it's free on Vudu, it's free on YouTube. Stepfather 2 and 3 are also free on Tubi. I don't know about YouTube though. I wouldn't call this movie scary, but it is really, just disturbing and kind of awkward, and it's a really good time. I would honestly say definitely recommend this movie if you've never seen it before. At least watch it once. Especially if you love the 80s movies, especially if you love horror. Anyway, thank you for watching.